I mean, if you want to be successful, so all the young engineers and would-be engineers that are listening to your podcast, if you want to be successful, don't let your decision about what you do be driven by the paycheck or the offer or the package of benefits. Don't let it be driven by that. Let it be driven by figuring out in some sensible way, and it may take effort to do it, what you really have, some basic competence or qualities already in your makeup that would suggest you'd be good at one thing or another. Find out what kind of a learner you are, because if you're a tactile learner, which means you learn by doing things, that might be a strong hint that a place for you to go is someplace where you'll be using your hands. That doesn't mean directly to the place which I would mention right away, which is in construction. That would be the trades. If you like doing stuff with your hands, you know that about yourself. But if you're not paying attention to it in the context of what does that mean for what I do in that part of my life that involves me earning a living, because when I say don't do it for the money, again, by that I really mean don't do it because you know what the money is and it seems to be good or it seems to be satisfactory. Because if what you're going to do for whatever amount of money is not something that you feel going into it is something, and this is a phrase that people are more familiar with, something you will enjoy.
Yeah.
And when taken into a work setting, you may continue to enjoy it. Just elevating it to love is something you can experience, and it simply means that and particularly as a person who ultimately gets into a leadership role, which is where his phrases about doing what you love were originally the first audience are leaders. And again, there are leaders at all different levels in organizations. In particular for a leader, the fact that they have that kind of a feeling that they take into their leadership role, that means that they are able to cultivate a strong feeling on the part of the people that they lead. So if you cultivate love, that generates energy. Again, I'm playing out his acronym. That does, just think about something, and any one of your listeners, just think in your mind about something that you really love doing. Something you really love. For you, it's probably playing golf.
It is. It is,
right?
Which is what was the inspiration behind me going into the engineering industry in the first place, is my love of golf and designing golf clubs. And then I realized that maybe that wasn't the industry that I wanted to work in, but I loved the process behind the design and understanding it. And I think it's so true. I mean, the most common question, this about me. I troll through the subreddits for engineering students and aspiring engineering students. It's where I find listeners and just engage in discourse. And the most common question I see on there is, which engineering major should I do? And they're like, well, I know that this one pays more, and chemical engineering or process engineering or computer science. I want to go to computer science because it makes more. Well, the industry's always turned. The industry's always changed. But what won't change is what you're most passionate about. So I always say, well, what are you most interested in? That is what you should pursue. And then the rest of it will come, because you're only going to be the best version of yourself if you pursue a career in something that you enjoy. The more you enjoy something, the better the product will be. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm miscommunicating. I just made a pilot, then they threw me on the stations. Now I'm not complaining, My thoughts get complicated, I cannot explain in lameness. Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify.